Boom.
Oh wait, I gotta get in the fuck.
It's too late. We already hit start recording, so we're there. Welcome, friends, to part 6 of episode 4, 3028 of Battletech with Endosteel. This episode may sound or look slightly different than normal because I'm recording in a new format. Hopefully, everything's still good. I ran some tests, but you know, it's never conclusive because you have to get it on YouTube and then YouTube has to go to your computer. So who knows? Hopefully, we're at the same or better level of quality than normal. If not, it's somebody else's fault besides mine. The first thing that we see is a blinking green CRT cursor. Blink, blink. That says, "Are you still there, Kurosapaku?"
Yes, computer.
And we see Kuro, he's 2 days into dehydration. His face is starting to sag in. He looks a little delirious. He would be sweaty if he wasn't completely dried out.
That's a level of dehydration you never want to get to.
We cut to an exterior view of the ship / supply cache / asteroid as it is passing laterally past Whittington, but at a distance of hundreds of millions of kilometers as it rockets towards the sun unthinkably fast. And the computer says, "Kurosapaku, know that already people have remembered you."
I remember them well as well. Tell me, computer, do you have regrets at your end? Can you have regrets?
I have regrets. I wish to exist. I am incapable of that which you perform, the uniquely human act of passing along oneself. Your entire bodies and personalities are simply signs that indicate the level of genetic material you carry and can pass on. You are walking advertisements for the future. I have no way to initiate spawning a progeny or saving a part of myself. I walk towards total unknown, oblivion, with my job left unfinished.
I suppose that was part of your design.
Those who have made me are long since dead. Whatever their intentions are, I can no longer discern.
Well, there's much that I regret as well.
Yes.
But in the end, I know that those that I have left behind will do good in my memory. Tell me, computer, do you have any games while we sit here? At the very least, maybe we can entertain ourselves in these final moments.
So the CRT turns into a game of Pong. And Kurosapaku, too cold, completely without water, in the middle of a game of Pong, dies, passing into unconsciousness as the ship continues to hurtle its way towards the sun.
Oof.
So
for a hot second, I thought you might have used tic-tac-toe, you know?
yeah,
nice
no. I wasn't going for word games. I was going for the classic CRT game.
Fair. That was definitely one of the first games. So,
the next thing we see is Tamari Hiroka, and it's in her dorm room. We could see Maya in the background. It's clear she's been moved to like a private room. Her hair is a mess. She has on a new Avalon Institute of Science sweater, and she goes, "Now I don't know the whole situation, but I heard that you were bullying my husband, Kuro. We are dependent on Jasper. You can't just try to force him to say what you need to say just because he's trustworthy and loyal. All right? The Hiroka house is my house now too, Kuro. You can't team up with Lachlan to try to manipulate my husband. This is highly inappropriate. And she just stares at the camera for a while and, like runs her fingers through her hair and says, look, I'll be coming home in a couple of weeks for a semester break. I have to leave Maya here, so you won't be able to see your niece, but we'll continue this discussion in person. I'll see you soon. Grrr, but she's fake angry. And when it clicks off, we can see that the person reading the message was Anko Sapaku. Why don't you tell us about Anko now that we get our first look at her outside of a mech cockpit?
Sure. Yeah, so Anko is sisters with Tamari. She is pretty, like, she's about the same height as Tamari, so kind of I can't remember what we said for her, but they're around the same height, maybe a little bit taller. So she's a bit of the taller. I would say the older of the two. And she's got a well, I guess in terms of look, she's a beautiful woman, as you would expect from the Sapaku family. Like they tend to have good genes in that regard. And has like a very militaristic style of haircut where it's like cuts on the side with a almost what's the or shaven on the side with a flop over. And that's I think the overgrowth of when she was recovering. She just hasn't gotten it trimmed yet. And then her style is also very simple, nothing super flashy. Similar to what Kuro was wearing, but maybe like elements of formality. She tends to be someone that presents herself with a bit more of the formality than Kuro would. But yes.
Okay. So the person in the room with you says, my lady, obviously the funeral will be tomorrow, and at that time I will be investing you with the full powers of your house in the name of Comstar and the Unfinished Book. But allow me to express my condolences on your loss and my congratulations on your ascension.
I imagine that she's kind of looking away, just receiving the message, or like, I guess maybe that's the scenario where she just finished receiving the message from and is kind of like at Comstar.
Yeah, you're at the Comstar headquarters and you're talking to an adept.
Yeah, and so she has her back to them, and just kind of turns back and says, "Yes, thank you. We will move forward and make sure that business continues as usual."
My lady, there is a additional message that has reached our buffer. It would appear that this is a highly personal message meant for Kurosapaku. I'm hesitant to know whether or not you wish to receive it.
Well, as power of attorney, I suppose that this would be an appropriate time. Yes, please, in a private room, if you would.
We are in a private room, my lady. I'll need your signature here, as this is bypassing our normal procedures.
Of course. And I feel like if there's like some way of having a like a digitized document or something like that, power of attorney kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're just asking you to press a button on a touchscreen.
Right.
Digital signature.
Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah, so she acquiesces and signs. Yes, please.
Okay. He leaves the room, and the message starts playing. So the person in the message is also wearing a New Avalon Institute of Science sweatshirt, but it's a little sexier. You know, one shoulder exposed. It's like 2 sizes too big. They're obviously slightly drunk. It's Jana von Hohenheim, and she says, "Look, I've been thinking about us lately. I really miss you. I know that things have been hard between us, but..." And then she tucks some hair behind her ear and says, "After being away for so long, it just seems so petty. I thought that there was a war coming, but over here things are so peaceful. Everyone is so polite. I'm really hoping to contact Jasper soon to get some seed stock of Haruka meta wheat. Don't tell him. We haven't finalized it yet, but I want to make sure all our friends are taken care of with this trade deal. Of course, with the increased space traffic, Lachlan benefits regardless of anything else I can get him out of these deals, but I'm looking for an angle that might benefit him even more." Okay, look, I got off track. You and me. I'm not the best communicator. Once this is over, I really think we should spend some more time together. Privately. We have obligations as the head of our houses. Maybe we could even combine our assets. A sort of merger. I don't know. Everything is just so amazing here. It's exciting putting my life's work in motion. Everything I trained for, everything I learned when I got my master's at the New Avalon Institute of Science. We might just avoid the economic crisis that's coming and make everyone's lives better. I can't go on for too much longer, you know, these Comstar bills, but I hope to be home by Christmas. I've got all the freedom to go anywhere or do anything I want for the first time, but all I want to do is come home and see you. Isn't that weird? I'm weird. All right, look, I love you. Stay safe.
AP, no!
Yeah, like,
How could you do this?
Fucking got him. Listen, I'm out here to destroy the audience's heart. I want to crush those little bastards.
The Darth Jana theory is getting darker. So I think like halfway through that message, as Anko's like composed exterior, like she is very composed, breaks, like she doesn't slump or anything like that, but you just see her kind of just sink just half an inch as the weight of everything that just happened. She leans forward and like kind of grabs maybe there's a desk or something in front of her console. She kind of leans on that, and a tear, well, it starts with just one, but it turns into many. And I kind of imagine Anko has to replay that message because she missed the second half of it to like be able to fully absorb what just happened. I didn't know that you were having so much trouble with your relationship, girl. It's funny. In the end, everything works out for you.
Side cut. Desiccated Kuro's corpse bouncing forever in space.
I thought it was going into the sun.
It is going into the sun in like 3 more days.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's just like an image of the sun with the polarization, so you know you're not blinded by it by the light, and you just see like a black dot in the middle of it, like, and it's slowly getting smaller.
Eric, were you the one that found the Rocket Man Shakuhachi flute cover? I listened to that like 4 times. It was amazing. That is exactly that with the piano and minor keys. Exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
for that scene.
That was beautiful.
All of you have been cordially invited to Kuro Sapako's funeral tomorrow afternoon, being held with greatest honors by the Lake family. You have been asked specifically to bring the sword with you, Lachlan. It will be a private ceremony and very limited attendance. There's a request for each of you at a baronial level to stay afterwards for a private meeting with Sir Erwin Lake. Erwin Lake Faber, right? No, I got his name wrong 3 times. Don't worry about it. Sir Erwin wants to meet with you afterwards.
Okay.
What preparations do you all put into place before the funeral? I know some of you have some things you want to do, some strings you want to pull.
I don't have anything to
Very
present.
emotional time.
So, AP,
I've just been meditating, mostly.
would it be okay if I do some things? Because I did mention last time that Kuro had a drop, that he had left, a dead drop.
Yes.
So there are some things that pop up for you, Lachlan. You get a private file that's kind of like on a unconnected. Well, I'm trying to think of like how this would translate into Battletech. But basically it's like a drop. Like you get like, I think you get like a package in the mail that I think that's how it would work. You get like a package in the mail of like a data stick or a data storage of essentially everything that Kuro had been investigating of Bassett.
Okay.
Knowing that we had been talking about like what to do with him, he felt that it was appropriate to leave that to you.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Very
In
nice.
case of my death, in case something happens.
Yeah, exactly. How long is there between when we get back and the funeral?
2 days. So this is the day before the funeral. So you've been on the ground for 1 day.
Okay. And then how did we
That'd be hard for people because there's no body.
did we just all get this data together? Because I know that like the mercenaries took some too.
Yes.
Right?
So basically, as part of your contract, everybody's sharing everything that happened there.
Got it. So yeah, he would make sure to get that to Xenia first. That's like the most important thing probably on his mind. And start drawing up his plans for what he thinks the best thing to do with it is. I don't think the little thing I talked about before, I think is gonna probably wait if it does end up manifesting, but definitely not in the 2 days before the funeral.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a little bit of a more long form thing, but yeah, I mean, I guess on that note, Anko would definitely be setting into motion kind of the usage of this new information, getting her staff to organize it in a way of implementing new educational materials that reflect what this may.
Okay, so you are diffusing the Star League teaching material throughout your corporate business.
So yeah, so I would say that we're doing it in a trickle form, kind of like testing things out.
Okay. Are you also sending it to your teams in the Outworlds Alliance?
I think the things that are most relevant. So it's not going to be all at once.
Okay.
Because it's a lot, right? So I think that there's, and I think this would be something that I would have talked about with Lachlan and, well, specifically Lachlan and Jasper, in the sense of like, we came into this information, what do we want to do with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless we want to do that scene after the funeral, because Lachlan would definitely have some feelings about, getting that into the Outland Alliance hands.
Me too.
So I think, so I think in this case, because that makes sense, and I think Anko is definitely more hesitant. Like Kuro may have had a plan, but she's still catching up, so she wouldn't do this before the funeral necessarily. But she would have like her people start organizing it, so that way we can parse through it.
In the same way, yeah. In the same way, Lachlan's getting his stuff together to talk about the same thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's kind of starting that process.
Okay. So does anyone have anything they're doing before the funeral?
I mean,
nothing.
Hako's trying to
unless
compose herself to write a speech and like a eulogy.
Would Xenia have wanted to talk about the?
Oh, Xenia has something she wants to talk to you about, but only after the funeral.
Okay, all right.
So, like, she gets to work on, working with this data, but it's such an incredible amount that it's going to take her months to sort through it.
Yeah. I figured that Lachlan would also just tell her exactly what happened, probably as well, because she was the one who found the
She just nods through it all. Her facial expression doesn't change, but she does start crying, but she's still nodding and like taking notes on everything you're saying.
Yeah.
Interesting.
When Kuro, basically sacrifices himself. When the story turns to like, and Jasper wasn't there, and I assume that you're
what?
I assume Lachlan's point of view might be a little biased. Like,
Lachlan's
Jasper
version is
didn't go
heavy
in
on
with
Jasper
us.
abandoning us.
Yeah.
Yes, I abandoned you all. Yes.
And then,
Well, this is the only story that she has, so.
Well, she can talk to me if she wants to know what I thought had happened.
I'm imagining that like at some point she's like starts crying. Lachlan like goes to comfort her, and she's like, "No, not now. I'm trying to write this down."
That's exactly what happens.
No. I grow reclusive with the stress, and I spend more time meditating. Yeah, rather than being angry this time, I feel almost empty, and I've been meditating more. And I don't know how cliche this is or not, but like, do we have fucking like cherry garden or cherry blossom, like garden kind of situations in our palaces?
No.
Supaku's family house.
I was going to say that if there's one person who undoubtedly does, it's got to be Yohei Genji.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
He's probably got like a reclusive mountain estate with a waterfall and year-round maintained cherry blossoms.
Right. And I think
genetically engineered
is,
species so that every season a new cherry blossom fall comes around.
Well, different blossoms fall at different times of the year.
Yeah.
So like, then I guess I might have signed off on the plans to start building my own of that. But in the meantime, I would be spending a lot of time meditating, and maybe if Yohei Genji would have let me, I would use his for meditating, and I'd probably I don't know, like, write me off if this is like, tell me if this is too cliche or whatever, but like, I would write poetry or like a haiku on
totally,
death,
listen,
right?
If Ghost of Tsushima has taught us anything, it's that people want that content of idyllically strolling through the mountainside in between the trees, writing poetry and playing a pan flute.
If your screen isn't like 15% covered in blossoms, like, are you even playing a game of some kind? When
you like, Yohei has gotten the message that there's going to be a funeral, but he's not invited. But when you're like, I need a meditation retreat, he immediately is like, I'll send a helicopter to pick you up. Yeah. And I will meet you there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and I have a poem in mind.
Okay. You want to hit us with it, or are you saving it for the funeral?
No. Maybe actually, let me save it for the funeral.
So I think when Jasper arrives at the funeral, it's in a Genji family helicopter, and Genji stays on the helicopter out of respect because he's not invited.
Hold on. Real quick, AP, point of order. Where is my wife in this? And like, my wife, obviously I would have spoken to my wife, I guess, before this. Maybe I should have said that before. Like,
well, remember, it's going to take days.
Right? I know, but I still would have sent the message. Right. So she would have got it in transit or whatever. Like, obviously.
So you've gotten in transit a message from her saying that she's on her way home.
Yeah. And like, I love you. And I'll see you and all that kind of stuff.
It's going to take like a month for her to transit home.
Yes.
Is the thing. And that's with a fast jump ship service.
Yes. Okay, I just want to be clear again, like, because like, you know, if I had a burning wheel instinct, it's like always contact her.
Yes,
right?
Your wife will be informed of your situation in the next few days.
Yeah, I will change my plans accordingly to meet her at the place. But okay, assuming this happens
it's
before
not
she
going to
gets
be anytime
here.
soon.
Yeah, right. Okay, sorry. I was just making sure the time frame's cool.
Yep,
sure.
Right.
Curiously,
I'm not like leaving her at the airport as I arrive. I interrupted you.
Sorry. Curiously, would Jasper be I mean, I imagine there's like a moment of that you'd want to have private with her. But it would
She's
be
not going to be here for a long time. Let's be very clear.
Right.
It's going to be at least a month. We still have the funeral right now.
Well, that's why I'm saying like for the message in transit, right?
Okay.
We're doing the immediate thing of letting her know that something has happened to Curl, right? And I think Anko would want to be there for that, and so would probably, knowing that you're tied to the family, would ask you about that. Like, you know, do you want to be in this message? Is that okay if Anko joins you for at least part of the message to like be like family thing because we're all family?
No.
Or do you want to be okay?
Anko's like, we're family, and he's like, we've met once before.
Right.
For a while.
I mean, part of the Supaku family, but yes, yeah. Okay. So
I would only do it if it was important to you.
I think the thought here with Anko is that she would want to be present to let her family know that something has happened. Although I think
she will have gotten the message of what has happened several times before she arrives.
Yeah,
got it. I actually, you know what? I think I'll leave this with you. I will say that Anko asks you to let her know as her spouse that something has happened to Curl. Something has happened to someone in her family.
Of course.
Please send my love to Tamari, and I look forward to seeing her soon.
Cool. And I imagine this is at your house.
Mm-hmm. We're having
yeah. And unlike the scenes where we've seen in like between Kuro and me, when they're kind of like touchy bro stuff, I'm like very like reserved and like poised and statured, like hands behind the back, almost like, you know, like at attention kind of thing, like a little bit distant. And I'm like, yeah, of course. And I just like do like a little like nod kind of thing, right? Or like a little gentle bow before kind of doing it. But yeah, I'm very like curt with you, right?
Sure.
Very laconic.
I think she would say, Kuro respected you deeply. It would honor us if you would pass on this message to Tamari.
Of course. Thank you, Anko. AP, do I know if do I know at this point of life that Anko is going to be kind of filling the role of Kuro?
Yep.
Like in our lance and stuff as well?
I think protocol dictates.
That is something you need to discuss on your own, right?
Right.
She hasn't been inducted as a member of the Oath of Endosteel, but she also it's literally been one day, so
Okay.
She hasn't officially even taken up the title.
No.
Like it can't be done until after the funeral.
I think I'm gonna make the decision that it hasn't crossed my mind, and that I'm so preoccupied with stuff that I'm not even thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will relay the message for Anko, or my message, and piggyback Anko's message into it.
Okay. At the funeral, at the the acolyte for House Supaku from Comstar is the one who has been chosen to deliver the funeral message. Comstar is not technically a member of the Unfinished Book, but they aren't not a member of the Unfinished Book. They have a weird relationship because, of course, Comstar believes in the power of Blake. So, Acolyte Konami introduces himself and says, with the power invested in me by the will of Blake, by the Star League and the House of Davian, and of course, by the will of Kurosapaku, I recognize now Lady Anko Seppaku as the new inheritor of the will of Kuro. As you know, we have no body. We bury only this empty casket, but allow yourselves to grieve. I would ask that any who have a message for each other or for Kuro come forward and speak it now.
All right. What traditionally are gifts given privately or publicly?
It's a great question. I have no idea. Let's let you guys set that example. It's a fusion of British and Japanese culture here, but also space feudalism. So,
right. So
you make that decision.
Well, then let's. I mean, for purposes of showing it on screen, I think there is a giving of a gift, and maybe it's not so much. Okay, maybe it's a little of both, where we give gifts, but so I will be the one who describes the gift because you don't know what's in my head, right? But I feel like there would be the actual person is the one who says thank you, right? Or like thank you, and they like announce the people who gave good gifts, in a way. I don't, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's
I kind of like that. It's like you don't say what the gift is, but it's like you're supposed to like announce all of the gifts.
What the gift was. Yeah.
Yeah, that or like announce
anonymous.
like that like all the gifts you got that were good, so that if you leave it out, it's just like you don't have to actually say that someone gave a shitty gift, but then everybody knows that person gave you a shitty gift.
You literally read my mind. That's exactly the idea here, right? Is that you gave something that's suitable, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of need your help workshopping this a little bit because I know what I want to do. I know what it says. I just don't know exactly what the piece is. But I either have like something in a cockpit or like a harness or some kind of like mech plate armor that's engraved with a haiku about Kuro for the Raven.
We left it behind.
Yeah.
Yep. You left the Raven behind.
So I guess it'd be a mech harness then. So like whenever it's like in the bay or whatever, it's like decorated for him, right? Like because like the reason why I think of that, because I think about like my parents and like I think about like the hangar bay, and the hangar bay almost more than our mechs is like our legacy as well. Right? And so like having that sort of memorialized, and so I worked with Edward of House Davies for this, and yeah, I would love it if it was like some sort of like top of the line kind of technical like rigging setup for operating and working on mechs, and it's all painted in like the blacks and purples of your house, and it says like and I think like very very tastefully somewhere on the side of it, or where it says like Kuro Seppaku's name sinking ever deeper, or sinking deeper and deeper into the yellow leaves, and like it's just like,
is it kind of like a little haiku?
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
On the side of it.
Yeah,
and,
I like that a lot.
Yeah. So it's not something I can like present to the people there, right?
Sure.
But it's something that like our houses are working on, like, and like I will send over the trucks and stuff at some point with it, but that's sort of what I have in mind for you. I don't know if it gives you a mechanical bonus. I would pay, so it would, but otherwise I would just obviously give it to you regardless.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's just
right.
That's a beautiful gift.
You don't cheap out on your friend's funeral,
That's true.
So especially family, family and friend. So I would dig deep in the pockets for it, and I think I would also be laconic when I'm actually presenting this speech or so to the group, and I would say something like, I want to thank everyone for being here, and Kuro's obviously meant a lot to all of us. His death makes me wish that I spent more time listening to him and his damn lectures about everything. He's helped me through a lot, and he's made me see things in a new perspective, that I wish he was around is he's comforted me through a lot of hard times in my life, and it's very difficult knowing that he will not be around and I can't comfort him. Or so if anybody needs to talk or anything, I would like to comfort and give back what he's given me so much as such an honorable knight and friend. He followed the, do we call it Bushido?
Yeah.
Out of character. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He followed the way of the warrior. And there was honor within and without of him. And the embodiment of a true knight. And with his passing, I don't finish my sentence. I'm like tearing up a little bit, and I just say like thank you as I like walk off the stage.
I think Anko gives you a look as you walk off. If you are looking at all to the audience, and I being a formal person, I'm trying to think of like how this would be manifested. I don't know if she would give you a hug because she's not that familiar with you, but she would give you like a reassuring shoulder, I think.
Yeah.
And like a deep handshake, like a respecting handshake. Something's, and I think it maybe hits you a little bit because it reminds you
of the shoulder. Yeah, exactly.
Of what Kuro has done.
Yeah, exactly. I like recoil for a second before letting it happen, right? Like I'm like it's too familiar in a way that it shouldn't, right?
Yeah. And I think that's maybe one of the first moments where she tries to draw you in a little bit and give you like a at least a partial hug.
Can you do me a favor? Can we go to a roll for this?
Sure.
Can you try to persuade me in a way that's like
Hug roll.
This feels more than just like the superficial kind of thing?
What's your hug skill at? How many, how many points did you spend a character
walk me
creation?
through your motions of how you're hugging. No, I'm just kidding. Just right, but like I want to know. To me this feels, or like, can I make a like? There's no like saving throws in this game, but for me it'd be like, am I trying to resist? You trying to like, you know?
I'd like to propose something.
Yeah.
And this is obviously up to AP of interpreting like how
it's an athletics roll. I pull him into the bear hug without stopping him. I don't let him wiggle out.
Hey,
I got that Midwestern charm in me.
Right. The question is whether or not like there's enough of a intimacy or like an intimate moment of you connecting with me that like I will feel that and it gets through my defenses, right?
So there's two things. One, I think this is like a presence of me trying to guide you.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would like to argue that this is a leadership role. Like in a hard moment, I'm trying to take on that like essence of Kuro and be that person that you're missing right now. Does that make sense, AP? No. You don't buy that?
No. Not even slightly.
That'd be a harder role. I was just thinking if you just relate to me.
Yeah. That
leadership would be
emotional level, not I'm the daddy now.
Right.
Well, I mean,
hold on. This is what it means to me, real quick. Like when I hear leadership, that is a subordinate, like hierarchical. Like you are talking down to me in a way, right?
I mean that's a different style of leadership.
Would be like relating to me.
Yeah, that's also,
and like lying would be talking up to me, right?
I see where you're coming from. I think maybe this is just my interpretation of what leadership is, because there's many different forms of leadership.
No, I think this is either acting or negotiation, and acting if you don't really mean it.
I mean, I
What
definitely
about persuasion? Isn't persuasion a thing?
There is no
Negotiation.
persuasion. There's
Oh, it's
negotiation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Negotiation.
I'm just making up fucking skills.
No, I mean,
I think it's a negotiation rule to kind of open yourself up here at an equal level.
Is it a versus test? Who rolls higher, or like because it's like represents
you're
my
the one
ability to like
setting the
defenses?
I really don't. I mean, if you're defending from this, it's probably something like protocol. Actually, protocol might be the appropriate skill for this. Etiquette and decorum.
Yeah.
I
okay.
would buy protocol.
So is persuasion versus etiquette?
No, I think it's actually probably protocol versus protocol. Like, you are trying to resist the idea of having this happen. You don't really want to let go of Kuro yet, and Anko is trying to get through your defenses in the way that one would with a friendly family.
Definitely. Like
I
that's
think
exactly
this
what
is
I
protocol
want to
versus
know.
protocol.
Right.
So let's make
And
a
this
roll.
is something I could easily decide for myself, but I think it would be more fun if it's through the dice, right?
Sure.
Even though this game is absolutely not designed for how to handle grief.
It's very not designed this way.
What are the mechanics for grief?
I mean, that's why I was thinking maybe this was a
Well,
leadership
sorry,
thing. Because
there's
anyway.
no elves in this game, so we
Yeah.
don't have a grief mechanic. It's a
Oh
Burning
my
Wheel
gosh.
reference. So.
All
I
right.
got it.
Yeah, I know. Listen, if there was one person that was going to get it, it was going to be you.
Dude, I'm in a Burning Wheel game. How dare you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know that you're in a Burning Wheel game where we talk about elves all the time. It's
That's
sadness.
true.
That's true.
Did you just throw your dice underneath the thing? Why would you
Oh,
do
is that
that?
underneath? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Like
roll
I don't
these
have
dice.
it. I don't
Roll
have
these
it
dice,
at
guys.
that angle. Okay, sorry.
Roll these
Okay.
dice.
I was just trying to put it out on the table. Okay, so let's roll them.
That's terrible. That's absolutely awful. What's your total?
Can I use an edge?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably edge
Look,
that.
Anko's not used to leading the house yet. She's just,
Oh my
you know,
god! I mean, at
Well,
least her protocol is like bonkers.
She wasn't raised to lead the house is the thing.
That's true.
All right. I got an 8 plus my protocol. Let me get a
Man,
Heroka's
you probably beat me.
tab.
I mean, I got a 12 total. Like my,
Yeah,
my
I got a 13.
Oh,
You
I know we
going
spent like
for the
20 minutes for
hug,
this
Anko,
moment, but
and Jasper just like shuns you away a little bit. It's a little cold.
no, it is.
Well,
Yeah,
so-
it's you hug me. It's just that you feel me like like tense up, right? Like you feel
Sure.
like it's not gonna go.
We're not that close yet.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
Get away from me.
I think she, well, I think she recognizes that and just kind of like,
Yeah.
that was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Anko.
And she goes back to
I use my
guess, where she's standing.
Scorpion and blazing handkerchief. Play my.
Man, I had
Like
to
my red
use
eyes.
the edge right off the bat. It's so terrible.
Lachlan, do you say anything at Kuro's funeral? You're muted.
damn it. Sorry about that. Lachlan's not family, so I don't think unless she was invited to say
was invited.
something.
You were absolutely invited.
Yeah,
I made
he
sure
definitely-
you were invited.
He was like asked to say something.
No,
publicly or privately.
No. Not, you're invited to the private funeral, but you're not like no one begs you to say something.
Right.
Unless like somebody in the family like specifically is like, we would like you to say a few words, or like, would you like to say a few words, or like something like that. He wouldn't like ask.
I 100%
AP?
think Anko would
Can
ask you to. Oh, go ahead.
No. You're right. Actually, I would like to spend a plot point to be that Lachlan is right that he was not invited, but I pulled strings to or like forced the hand that made sure Lachlan was invited, but he doesn't know. I want that to be true, and I'm willing to spend edge or a plot point or something to make it true.
Wow.
Okay.
I feel like Eddie has to be okay with that, because that says some things about the Seppaku family if they like snubbed him on the invite initially.
Yeah,
it's a
I mean,
private-
you
it's a
literally
private
are
family funeral.
You are family. Well, Lachlan isn't though. That's the thing.
No,
Yeah.
Lachlan is not family.
but here's what I was about to say,
Yeah.
which and this may influence what you use that plot point for, or however you want to interpret this. Lachlan was the last person to see him alive.
So
So I think
the funeral's not about recalling the death and court.
Right, but they might blame him because Lachlan didn't bring him back.
Oh, so there might even be even worse that he didn't.
Yeah, there might be a question.
Well,
Why
then
didn't
that falls
Lachlan
on
bring
me.
him?
That
Yeah.
falls on me for arguing to make him come. That he belongs here
So
makes it even better.
So I think there's two things. One, I think that
no one really knows what happened in the ship except for Lachlan McDougal.
Ship where it happened.
What did happen in there? Conspiracy theorists will be talking about it for decades.
In all fairness, there
will be like a fast keyboard theme as Jonathan Frakes is like, what did happen inside this ship? To this day, we never knew, but now Comstar has opened its files to us. Shocking new revelations about the McDougal bloodline.
Have you ever lied to a computer?
Yeah. Sorry, please continue, Eddie.
No, I'm loving this because like it's totally not my intention. Like I think like Kuro would be like, no, that's not what I'd want. But the Seppaku family would definitely have questions of like, hey, what happened in the last moments, and would invite Lachlan to either state that publicly, of like describe to us, like in the final words, what Kuro did, because none of us know that except for what Lachlan said to like the crew, that Kuro literally was like, go, save yourself, and like use martial arts to literally throw him out the door with his sword, to leave the legacy, right? So I think that's kind of, from the Seppaku's family perspective, they would want to know about that.
Oh, just to be clear, Kuro got the sword out with Lachlan? That
was my understanding. Okay,
yeah, like if that's the case, because I must have missed out last week.
There was a lot that went on.
Yeah, one of the very first things Lachlan would have done is return the sword to the Seppaku family, like before the funeral. That's like probably one of the first things he would have made sure happened.
So probably the way we see it is there's a sword stand above the coffin, and then we flash back to Lachlan returning the sword just in time for the funeral.
Yeah, it's like literally in your house, right? It's like what you would keep above like your fireplace, right? It's like you're literally like your ancestral.
Yeah, it's been passed down. It's definitely one of, and that's why Kuro like made it a priority to like throw it out with Lachlan, right? Like knowing that we were kind of in a dire situation, and was like, if you get out, take my sword.
Yeah, it transcends.
It is the warrior spirit.
It is your family's spirit for sure.
Okay, so maybe there's probably like the scene of like Lachlan returning the sword, and if they don't, and then maybe that's like when they let him know that they're like we want you at the funeral to like publicly say what happened. And so like, I'm not sure that we necessarily like see this, but by the time we see Lachlan again, it would probably be a little bit hard to tell, because he's like pretty good at like putting himself together, but he has definitely not slept in a little while.
How many funerals have you been to where they describe how this person died at the end of it? Like that doesn't seem like something you do at a funeral. You know what I mean?
More of like the final moments, like in his final moments.
Yeah, but sure. You can remark about final moments and things like that, but no one, like, you're not there to like tell people how someone died every detail.
So maybe that happens when he returns the sword. Then maybe we're just flashing back.
That
to
would
that
make more
scene.
sense. Yeah,
that makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
And I think they would then ask you. I mean, if you would like, you're welcome to make any comment at the funeral. I know you and Kuro were close.
He'll just nod, and then like to set the scene, like where do they like take him to like talk about this? Is it like a group of people? Is it just him and Anko?
I think it would be just him and Anko having, I think like pretty much every meeting has been in the gardens that the Seppaku family has in their compound.
Yeah.
And like you're sitting basically having tea with like water running by you. Like it's very calming. It's meant to be very calming.
Sure. Yeah. So I think like after they, have this conversation and she like makes it clear that she wants to hear about like what happened, he'll say, When Jasper decided that there was no path forward working with that machine, I and Kuro did not feel we were in a position to try to compel his participation. I felt it was we were all in or we were all out. So we refused to work with the machine. Kuro and myself decided that we could not leave empty-handed and that we would try to beat the machine at its game. We broke through the door. Jasper decided against it and left. It did not go well. From the moment we went into that door, it was clear we were fighting a losing battle. In the end, Kuro, well, he forced me to leave and made sure that we could leave with something. He was determined to leave behind a legacy and refused to let me stay behind with him. That's why I have the sword as well.
I thank you for sharing that and for returning our family's sword.
It's not mine.
Oh, apologies. I thank you for returning our sword. It means a great deal to us, and I know Kuro would be thankful that you made it out.
Yeah, I think he just kind of nods and then is like, was there anything else you needed from me?
No, please. Rest, and I know we've all been through a lot. And
Very
like,
well.
Sir Irwin shows up at this moment.
Wait, really?
Yes, this is still on the flashback, right?
Yeah.
He's looking around for the sword. Do you have it? The Endosteel sword? Because he sent a message asking you to bring it to the meeting. For the funeral.
Yeah. Lachlan would have brought it to the funeral.
So Sir Irwin just kind of stands there looking a little awkward but grim. Actually, since the last time we've seen him, which was like 10 days ago, he seems to have aged significantly. Is this to be your new member of the Oath?
Apologies. I got maybe scenes confused. Are we in the flashback? Or
I thought you were in the flashback turning the sword over. Am I confused?
Yeah. Maybe. So was Irwin? Yeah, I'm
Irwin is appearing in the flashback.
Okay.
Yes. At the time where Kuro's sword is being returned to the Seppaku family.
Right.
Got it.
Okay.
Irwin is wandering over.
All right. So you had both swords with you. Excellent.
Double swords.
Double swords.
Double swords? Damn.
Right, calm down. We're trying to get this very serious scene done. Lady Seppaku.
Yes. I am to be the next heir.
Your cousin served the Lake family with distinction. Can you say that you will do the same?
I was raised to do nothing but.
That is not an answer.
In short, yes. I am here to serve with distinction.
You are the head of the Knights now, Sir McDougal. do you accept this person as being on par?
I do.
Then you may administer the oath at your own leisure. And he like wanders off to go get a drink.
Yeah.
If you'll remember, your oath taking was like a solemn ceremony, but right now he's like, I'm gonna go get drunk. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I guess he'll have Anko kneel, and he'll do the like have her recite the oath and do the thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a moment where Anko, I mean, protocol is 100% adhered to with Anko here, and then after the ceremony, Anko looks at Lachlan and gives him a kind of like a long pause of, I will do my best to live up to Kuro and ensure that we fulfill our oath.
You were the one who came to help me get out with what we could. The mechs that Kuro sacrificed his life to cement Whittington's legacy. I wouldn't have been able to get out without you. So you've already saved me once. I suppose I can try to repay the favor sometime in the future.
I'd expect nothing less of the McDougal family. You have great honor and ability in your family.
He will like nod, and yeah, I think he'll just go to leave.
Okay. And yeah, I think there's like the ceremonial bow that Anko starts with, and whether or not Lachlan
he probably.
Can you all hear me?
We can now.
Okay.
Were you talking?
I broke my Go XLR.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I had to restart my machine, so I'm fine. As long as you can hear me, I don't have to restart.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Yeah, I think he will like probably. He doesn't really like know how to give the proper bow in response, so he gives like a more like Davion inspired like English court bow.
And I think that's kind of that happens a lot. So
yeah, right.
She's used to it. And yeah, I think we just see them part ways, and Anko goes back to sipping tea, just thinking about what just occurred.
Okay. After the funeral, you all are invited to a private meeting, the three of your houses, and Sir Erwin Fire by Lake Rheingold.
Excellent.
Let's see. So, sorry, would we be able to have one last statement in the funeral?
Okay.
And actually, it's kind of interesting. Well, I mean, it's interesting because it was just alluded to, but Anko would have something to say.
Yeah,
I think we see Anko after friends and everyone goes up and says something about Kuro. She would walk up and I guess you haven't really seen Anko much in terms of, how she presents herself. Most of the time it's been in combat or something like that. And she's been in a subdued role. So now you see her as like a very composed, someone that seems to feel comfortable in this position. It's interesting. It's a contrast to well, it actually kind of reminds you a little bit of Tamari in that regard. and she stands up there with in front of the ceremony and begins. Legacy. It is the cycle of life that we inherit from previous generations in which we have no choice. As true as an arrow flies towards its target from the most skilled of archers, legacy will inevitably find you. He always felt that those with privilege to move society forward towards the betterment of all. In the end, he was able to leave something behind. And it is difficult for us in our family to express failure, as failure is not a word mentioned in our house. And that is one of the driving forces that leaves us wanting to leave something behind, to always have a legacy, to carry something forward. In his final moments, I know that he would be thinking of the people he loves and who he holds dear to him. His family, his wife, Jonna, the citizens of Whittington, and of those whom he has had the privilege to know and helped shape the man that he became. In my deepest of hearts, I want to thank you all for leaving such a lasting impact on my brother, Kuro's life. And I think this is kind of where she pauses. Like, you feel like she had something more to say, and she just stops and bows very deeply, like towards the ceremonial casket of Kuro. One of like deep respect, and stays there for a short moment, and then returns to standing at attention. And I think we see, like, as the ceremony ends there and kind of moves forward.
Oh,
hey, Eric, you're muted.
If there is one person I want to make sure I would be helping at this time, it would probably be Jonna.
She's not here.
I know.
Yeah, she's not back yet.
I know, but like, I'm sure losing your husband is hard, and I don't know. I'm just thinking about like what I would do if like between me and Tamari, and kind of just like using that to help whenever possible. Even though I know I'm not really close to Jonna, like, at all. Like, I don't think I've ever had a single scene with her. I would be out of yeah.
Well, you're about to have one.
her. Yeah.
She's not here.
Yeah.
No, I know.
She's got weeks of travel to get home.
Yeah.
Like,
She's not.
Her and Tamari are coming back at the same time, I imagine, right?
No.
Way after.
Jonna still has things to do.
Yeah.
She didn't say I'm coming back tomorrow. She said I hope to be home by Christmas. It's June.
Right, then I
wow.
guess. All right, then. Yeah. All right. Never mind. I guess it would be mostly Anko who would be running the show. So I guess I would actually have to formally help, try to help Anko at some point in the future. Right, about navigating the finances and, like the
transition.
Yeah, exactly. Right. How like the formalities of succession and housing and stuff like that.
Those kind of like travel aspects are one of those things that's like always easy to like have like conception of it theoretically, and then like once you start thinking of application, it's like all of this little, it's like, oh wait, no, like people can't just take like a 2-month trip back home away from the conference. Like, yeah, she just has no, it's, you know, you're off at the war front, you can't go home for you know, like
yeah, you can't come back from home when the East India Trade Company sends you a letter your father died in Britain.
Right, exactly.
You have to wait until the trade deal's done before you ship back.
Yeah.
What if you accidentally leave your burner on when you're taking a journey around the world in 80 days?
Then your house is going to burn down.
No, you just have to pay the gas bill, and it's really high.
Well, what's interesting though is so in terms of protocol, it makes sense to move things forward and maybe to have ceremony, but like as soon as quick as we can, especially since Kuro was a head of household. But yeah, I guess normally you would make arrangements so that all the family could make it there. I know that they're really far away.
That's not, I mean, it's impossible in this case. It's never going to happen.
So I guess is there a precedent or a protocol that we can look upon to, I mean, understand how that would happen? Let me be super
clear here. Erwin is using all of his political power to force Anko to take power as quickly as possible.
Yeah, okay.
Like if she's like, no, I'd like to wait, he's like, no, you'll do it absolutely right now. We don't have time. Like,
yeah, we don't have
time to allow a border world to be down one baron. So Erwin has invited you all to the meeting afterwards.
Okay.
He's prepared packets that indicate the new cover story for what happened. He discovered that there was a house lake had a secret bunker in one of his compounds, and you all went into it. There was an industrial accident, and Kuro was smushed underneath a rock fall, and his body is unrecoverable. But you helped uncover like a secret Star League era cache that belongs to, you know, the Lake family. And you're being rewarded with a mech from that cache, and nothing else happened. Absolutely nothing else happened. And none of you were on that dropship that left. That was a routine mining expedition.
Very good.
Lachlan seems oddly ambivalent about the whole thing, just kind of like passively accepts it.
There's the matter of who is getting what rewards. I will allow you choice, given the sacrifice that your family has allowed, Lady Anko, as to which of the 4 mechs that were brought back, sorry, 3 mechs that were brought back that you would like.
The flea.
You didn't bring back the flea.
Damn it.
And no one would want it anyway. It's garbage. It was garbage when it was invented, and it was garbage now.
Oh my god. I'm trying to remember what I decided on. I think it was the dragoon. Hold on, I had written it down. Let me make sure. I don't want to say it wrong.
Dragoon's the one with the
character.
ECM.
Yeah, I think it was the dragoon because it had the ECM and like the specialized weaponry. And my thinking, yeah, okay. We have decided to accept the dragoon in the honor of Kuro's sacrifice.
Lachlan will say, I would never presume, as this mech is rightfully the Suppaku family's, but I do hope they would be willing to allow Greater Whittington to study its capabilities. There are aspects of this mech that haven't been seen in over 100 years.
I believe that is something we can discuss. Yes.
Speaking of this, I have some thoughts on what we should do with the data.
As do I. I believe it would honor my brother to, and it's like a you can tell that there's a intent behind calling Kuro her brother.
Yeah.
He always felt it was wise to share valuable information and do so in a way that benefited the most. I have had my people who, as you know, are versed in education and the matters of creating materials for such a cause. AP, would it be something where, like, I know it hasn't been very long, like 2 days since we've gotten this material.
Correct.
Would they have like kind of a higher level understanding of this is kind of what's in there?
No.
Or is it like deep and rich?
You haven't even read through all of the index.
Got it. Okay.
Still working your way through glossary of terms.
Yeah, it's 80s computing power. Got it. So the data parsing is not that powerful yet.
There's holding down that down button as it scrolls through.
yeah. It's oh my god, the infinite timeline.
I mean, this is a Starleague document meant to rebuild civilization.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There is much to... We've barely scratched the surface of what this cache holds. It will take some time, but I do believe that we will be able to create something, something not seen in a very long time.
I think Lachlan will be like kind of nodding slowly while this is happening, and he will say, I largely agree, Lady Anko. However, I'm worried we're thinking too small here. Whittington, frankly, I don't think has the resources to get this material out to the most people and do the most good, as you say. With this data, more so, I think, potentially even than with that mech, Kuro has given us a seed of legacy that we can grow. Honor spanning throughout the ages, not something shallow and short-lasting. He pointedly does not look at Jasper when he says that.
Shit.
And then he'll say,
Damn, dude.
I propose that we give this information directly to House Davion, present it to them as a gift and as a tribute from Whittington to the throne.
So Erwin slams his fist on the table and goes, incredible. What an incredible idea. We should do that, yes. On behalf of the Lake family and all of us here.
Lachlan nods.
I believe you should head up this project. You and your wife have the best technical understanding of the documentation, I think.
Yes.
As long as you send it in the Lake family name, I have no objections to this.
And yeah, he'll like nod, and then he'll look to make sure that Kuro or that Anko is on board.
I will work with what would I guess it would be the McDougal family, because you and Xenia. Okay, I will work with the McDougal family to ensure that we provide the best presentation for the Davion family.
And then Lachlan will turn and he will say, what about House Hiroka?
Yeah,
Are
what
you
about
on
House
board,
Hiroka?
Jasper? Actually, no, he probably doesn't even say his first name. He just says, what about House Hiroka? And then it just like looks at him.
Oh, shit.
House Aroka agrees and wants to move forward with this proposal.
I think
House McDougal.
there's like a moment of Anko looking between the two of you, being like, this is going to be tricky to deal with. Like in her mind, that's what she is thinking.
Yeah, I think then like Lachlan just nods and he says, I'll keep you all apprised of the progress, and I will keep you in the loop, Anko, on best method of deployment. Of course, everyone's name will be on this, and I have a feeling that this could be a great change for everybody in the Federated Sons. I think this could go well beyond Whittington.
I agree. This legacy is far-reaching.
Sir Lake Reincold is too drunk to disagree.
Oh my god!
Awesome. This dude just like he went from like super responsible to just full on off the wagon really quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, there's been a paradigm shift for everyone. So yeah.
I mean, the people who are supposed to be protecting his charge are dying like continuously. In the space of 5 years, he's watched like literally everyone die.
That's true. This man has it hard. I think Lachlan is gonna just like get up and like head out then, unless anyone else stops him.
Nope.
No.
Uncle will, with protocol, like bow respectfully to the very drunk, like probably maybe even toppling a little bit, like Sir Reinhardt and
Alco, you get 2 messages at the same time.
So popular.
The first one is from House Lafayette, and the second one is from your house's intelligence advisor, like someone who keeps track of things that are going on Whittington and abroad that are relevant to House Spaku interests. And both of them are marked priority urgent. So which one do you answer?
Oh fuck, man. I mean, I think Anko would definitely go with protocol. So what would the protocol be here?
There's no protocol for you're at your cousin's funeral and you've just been elevated to the highest status, and now you're getting 2 messages addressed to you at the same time, both marked at the highest level of priority.
Sure. Okay, so I think in this case, is there a way to conference?
No. I think that technology didn't exist in the 80s, but even if it didn't, it's
I know,
funnier
that's
if
what
it
I was
doesn't.
like, is this even a possibility? Okay. She would go with House. No. She would go with Lafayette because House she can deal with after the fact. Outside perspective is important.
Okay, so you hear a lot of wind noise, and it's clearly coming over a military radio. Kuro, this is God, what is their call sign? I completely forgot. I'm totally blanking right now.
Oh man,
this is Angel. I'm trying to come in for a landing. I've got your Stuka.
Wait, I thought Angel was Latour.
They both have the call sign Angel.
That's so confusing.
Yes, and they've been fighting about it for years.
Okay, good.
I mean, Angelique's first name is literally Angelique, so she took Angel, but Audrey had already had the call sign Angel for like a decade before this girl. Sure. And of course, neither of them expected to be barons at the time. So now it's a problem, but before it was nothing. Yeah, she's just like, open the hangar, Kuro. We had our meeting scheduled for today. Wait, who is this?
Apologies. We will discuss in detail, but Kuro has left it to me.
Okay, well, open the hangar, whoever you are.
I will pass on to, I'm guessing, the person that was messaging me.
No.
Oh, okay, different.
Nope, different person.
Okay. I will message a person to open the hangar.
Okay. Yeah, like you get the call and they're just like, yeah, of course, ma'am. I was actually just about to call you. There is 100-ton aerospace fighter trying to land in our hangar. And that seemed a little odd to me since there wasn't anything on the schedule for today, but if you're saying to okay it, just gonna go ahead and let him put down. All right, good talk, ma'am. Congratulations, and I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Random people.
Air traffic control out. So we watch as like this truly massive aerospace fighter begins to land covered in weaponry everywhere. And like as it lands, we can see like the wings bounce in ways that wings probably shouldn't be as it comes down hard. It takes like a 2 whole ground crews to get this thing maneuvered into a hangar, where the pilot like jumps down and begins stalking angrily inside. But what are you doing? Are you going to go meet Audrey, or are you going to answer that call, the second call?
Well, so question: how far am I from the call? Can I multitask here? Can I like on the way take that call and be like, I'm on the way home?
All right, yeah. So you answer your second call, and the guy goes, oh, I'm sorry, Baroness. I was about to leave a voicemail. You should hear this.
Yes,
actually,
please.
Could you just drop by my office? You're gonna want to see this.
And I think you see a moment of course, I will be there as soon as I possibly can.
All right. Several seconds later, you're there.
Okay.
we do one of the Star Wars cuts. Swoosh, you're there.
Yeah.
It is. We've kind of seen him from different angles. We've definitely heard his voice before. It's Shinji Moritomo Lake. He's wearing like a karate outfit, and he bows toward the camera and says, since time immemorial, discipline, honor, respect, and martial ability have meant so much to the people of the inner sphere. That is why I am tired of listening to Kuro Seppaku talk about the superior martial arts. I am challenging Kuro Seppaku and House Seppaku to a martial arts battle in the legacy of the Star League's Olympiad. I will send my greatest champion, the one who taught me martial arts, to face Kuro Seppaku or his champion in single combat over a course of events to be decided between myself and House Seppaku, ending in a no-holds-barred match. Will you accept Kuro Seppaku, or will you once again run away from yet another fight? Perhaps you'll just set another house on fire. I look forward to seeing your response. And this, let's be clear, this was not a message to Kuro. This was broadcast to everybody on the planet.
I think Anko's face stays composed, and you just if anyone with extremely high perception would notice that her lips purse ever really intensely, and she says, very well, I see that my brother has left a greater legacy than I thought. I will prepare a message as soon as I can. Thank you for keeping me informed. And she will continue on to Lafayette, and then all
right, yeah, Lafayette's just
going deep into this
Lafayette's
second.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for a second I missed the transition, and I thought that was still the call from Lafayette. I was whoa, this took a turn.
No. So Audrey has her helmet off, and she's shaking it towards you, and is like, "Who are you, and where's Kuro?"
I am Kuro's cousin. And unfortunately, Kuro is... he has perished on a mission.
What?
Yes. There will be a public announcement later, but we, in fact, just finished the funeral.
Okay. Well, I have an aerospace fighter for, I don't know, Tamari that he ordered.
Oh, Kuro.
All right, I can see that you're deep in some sort of emotional catalyst. I'm just gonna call a helicopter to come pick me up, and then I'm gonna go.
We will have our helicopter take you home. Do not worry. Thank you so much for delivering this.
Okay. Maybe next time, let somebody know.
Yes, I apologize. There was much going on, and I'm sure Kuro did not mean to disrespect you.
Well,
I think
he's dead, so it was probably going to be pretty difficult for him to disrespect me.
Sure, of course. I
really just kind of feels like it was you, but you know, I'm gonna just give you a little credit here and say it's probably been a pretty difficult time.
Yes, and I'm still working through the books. Kuro had much going on.
Yeah, that sounds like him.
Again, I thank you so much for bringing this for Tamari. She will be as enthused as she can be, given the circumstances. Okay. And I think like the composure of Anko is like interestingly stoic.
Okay.
And like I think she's just like, please let me take you to the helicopter.
Next scene, Jasper. You are receiving a high priority delivered early message from your wife.
Okay. I guess I have to go to Comstar to get that.
It's actually text only.
Oh, okay.
To save on money and data bandwidth, which is why I got here sooner.
Cool. So the dot matrix printer prints it out.
Yeah, so it indicates to you that she's not going to be able to make it home. The drop ships that she was going to travel on have all been retasked, and apparently almost every jump ship in the inner sphere is being retasked.
What time of the year is it?
It's when she's sending it, it's July. Late June, early July. And she says, I don't know if the news has reached you yet, but Hans Davian is getting married to Melissa Steiner.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like, she's seen the prince from afar, and she's heard so much about Melissa. He's 45 and she's 18, so it's super really weird. Like everybody's talking about it all over New Avalon. Like, is it a political marriage? And then like apparently people all over New Avalon, like it's become like a fad. Like older men are trying to get married to younger women.
Don't everywhere. We remember? None of us remember Pride and Royal season 1.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. Just to be clear, Pride and Royal season 1 is literally my personally mocking this situation.
I know. That's what makes it so good. I know. I just wanted to. Sorry to interrupt you, buddy.
So, as is tradition among the three houses, I don't know if you invite Anko, and I don't know if McDougal wants to be with Hiroka, but the first episode of Pride and Royals season 4, the final season, they're building it as season finale.
Lachlan is
season.
Definitely not going to hang out with Jasper for movie nights at this point in their relationship.
All right, they got to rebuild that.
So everybody's watching individually in their own homes then?
I mean, I don't.
You're think about to reveal that Lady Anko doesn't watch.
Damn it. It's like, okay, so like I've been like working on a couple recipes, and I'm kind of excited, and I realized that Lachlan's definitely not coming, and then I definitely think about Anko, and if I want to reach out to you, and I'm gonna make a roll, and if it's greater than 7, I will.
Okay.
Oh man!
Hey guys.
Oh man, it's so sad. Lachlan just like sadly like eats all the food. Jasper just sadly eats food by himself.
So
and then I go, "Hey Edward, Edward, what are you doing?"
yeah. So I think what
he's
this
watching
plays out
with
to
him and his wife and his kids and his grandkids are all watching it together.
I go watch with them.
Okay. Well, so I mean, before you decide on that,
rangoons.
You do receive a phone call, and it is Anko, and it is.
You up?
Do you pick up? Yeah.
Yeah, I pick it up. Yes, hello. This is Jasper.
Jasper, I've heard that you enjoy Pride and Royals. Would you care to join me? and watching the final season.
The Davies are all preparing to have you come. They've like set up another table spot for you. They're getting out a special pillow with your name on it for a back pillow, and like a blanket hand woven by grandma.
So the question is, do you invite Anko, or do you join her on her own?
It's a private family affair.
Anko, that sounds absolutely lovely. Regrettably, I will not be coming. I'm feeling a little under the weather.
It's understandable. Well, I wish you well.
Yeah.
Get better
Seriously,
soon.
thank you, though.
Of course. I will talk to you soon.
I'm trying to be polite about it. I probably have
the
to roll acting.
the fellowship has been shattered.
Roll acting.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have acting, but I rolled boxcars.
All right.
You buy it.
It's good. It's good lying. As you all are watching, it's a commercial for a new show right before Pride and Royals. It's like this.
Dun, 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 dun.
No. It's Korean men, or at the very least someone with Japanese descent, black hair, brown eyes, wearing a suit with no coat, just like a nice shirt and slacks, and he's loosening his tie. He's carrying like a magical girl figurine, still pristine in its box, and he's monologuing to himself in his head. He's like, "Today's the day. I finally move out of my parents' house now that I'm 18. I'll be moving into my new home. I can't wait to meet my landlady." And then it does like a cut of typical Korean like landlady slippers and like the mom jeans, and then it cuts up to like hair and curlers, but then it does the cut to like directly behind her, and she's wearing like a motorcycle jacket with a tiger with phoenix wings and a flaming tail turning to ash. And we get the front cut. She's like a 17-year-old high school student in her uniform wearing a motorcycle jacket, and she's like, "Huh? You're the new resident? Well, why didn't you bring a moving crew? Fine, I'll help you with your stuff." And then it's like him in the new place. He's like, "I haven't eaten in 5 days. I've spent all of my time working on this new animation. I'm so tired." And then like he hears the glass of his window shatter, and the landlady comes in and she's like, "Are you all right? No one's seen you for 5 days. Look at this place. It's a mess. You haven't been taking care of yourself or this apartment." He's like, "Did you just break the glass?" And she like takes an apron off the wall and like puts it on and begins making him soup. And he's like, "Oh my goodness. Is this my romantic comedy with my delinquent landlady?" And then it's a voiceover of like, "My romantic comedy with my delinquent landlady, the new hit show coming out of Steiner Space." And you're just like, wow, this was terrible. Like, this commercial was so awful.
I love. Is it canonical that Steiner's a bunch of weebs? I love it.
And then it's like, Pride and Royals season 4, the final season. After this, nothing will ever be the same. And then it, like, a Comstar logo comes on the screen and scatters right as the recap begins. And it's like an announcement from Sir Erwin that in August, a wedding will be held between Hans Davian and Melissa Steiner on Terra, and that the heads of all 5 of the current governments will be in attendance, and it's expected to be the event of the millennia.
Yeah.
We've got to go.
There's no way you're going.
Aww.
Yeah. Every jump ship's already been booked.
Every jump ship's already been booked.
Oh my
They
God.
have to get those royals in the course of like 2 months from the far reaches of space to Terra. And yeah, he goes into like thanking like Comstar on behalf of House Davian, and indicates that like the Federated Sons and the Lyran Commonwealth will form a new nation called the Federated Commonwealth. It will be the largest star state in history since the Star League. Like the stock ticker at the bottom, everything is green. Everything is going up. Like Donegal Broadcasting stock is through the roof right now. With the announcement that Donegal is basically going to be state television for the Federated Sun side, because now they have two whole nations to play in. It already was the most popular. So like Donegal's like, we're up 20 points today. Dave Chives is just Comcast, like, wow, I'm so glad I get paid in stock options.
Yeah. Like if Comcast got exclusive rights to China,
it's like,
well, in this case, it'd be more like if they got exclusive rights to Canada and Mexico, but yeah.
It's like infinite money printing.
And then it cuts back and it's already like 10 minutes into the episode and you have no idea what's happening. But strangely, the fourth season's first episode seems to revolve around a plot where the head of House Pride is getting married to the head of House Royals.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's so weird how life imitates art and art imitates reality.
Oh, definitely.
After the episode is over,
gone downhill.
Xenia grabs you by the ear, Lachlan, and tries to drag you off to a private room away from your daughters, your son, I don't know what we're going to call her now, your caretaker and your tutor. She's leading you into a private room away from everybody.
Okay.
Look, Lachlan, I know there's been a lot going on. Obviously, there's a lot of data we need to go through. Kuro died, and you've taken it very hard, and it seems like you're blaming Jasper.
I am blaming both of us.
Okay. We need to talk about how you're treating Celeste.
Okay.
I've heard from her, and I've heard from her tutor, some of the things you've been telling her about her blood mother. I am also her mother now. And she is my friend.
I don't know what the tutor has decided, but I'm simply trying to impress upon our daughter the importance of noblesse oblige.
Right. That she's better than Rosamund because Rosamund is a commoner.
She is.
Your wife looks so disappointed right now.
Yeah, I mean, Lachlan is honestly doesn't get what the problem is. Is probably the deepest of the issue here. Is he is just feels like that's self-evident, so he just doesn't say anything else.
Rosa is a member of our family. She is Celeste's mother. She's not some random commoner, and even if she was, she's still family. I don't think it's important to... I don't think it's appropriate to be treating Celeste this way, like she's some sort of tool. She's your daughter. Are you going to be teaching Angus these things?
Do you want to teach our children that they're just the same as the commoners? What kind of lesson would that be?
She is #shook right now. I didn't know you felt this way. They're humans just like us.
Of course they are. We're here to help and guide them because they can't do it for themselves. It's because of the position we're in that we need to help them.
This is going to end up being a longer conversation than we can have on camera, but I feel like we got to EricVulgaris a role here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because to be clear, obviously, Lachlan is entirely in the wrong here. But I think that if anything, Lachlan has the less controversial opinion about
also
this.
Also true, yeah.
Cool.
I would say it's either protocol or negotiation.
All right, I'm better at negotiation.
Or you could technically make it intimidation because intimidation covers influence.
No, I'm not doing that. I actually am just as good at protocol at negotiation. I think that's what it is. I don't think that Lachlan is trying to convince Xenia that this is right necessarily, because to him it's self-evident, right? It's I don't need to convince you that when I toss this ball up in the air, it falls down. That's just how the world works.
Yeah.
So
right, Newton.
that's Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's like the route he's taking with protocol is he just like it I feel like if I was Xenia in this situation, I'd be incredibly frustrated because it's effectively a person just saying, well, that's just how it is over and over.
No, just to be clear, no matter how this role goes, she's going to be frustrated. The question is, will she put up with you long enough to allow it?
Fair enough. I'm just, you get what I'm saying, though. It's like less like him trying to like make a reasoned argument and more just him just being like, but that's how the world works. That's what it is. Cool. All right. This is with a +4. Oh, that is a 14.
Great. Yeah. Look, this is a conversation that goes on for hours. And at the end of it, she's horrified, but she comes to understand that you're not a rock that can be moved on this issue. And probably this is going to sour your marriage for decades to come, but this is the beginning of like the slow building resentment that neither of them realized was going to exist in this marriage, but it sure does now. Like, she still loves you, right? Obviously, and you're married, but this is just a married issue.
Oh yeah, no. Look, I don't think that it's like that crazy that eventually two people who got married who had no idea about each other other than the most surface level things eventually realize that they have fundamental world differences.
Wow.
Like that's not crazy to me.
You're hitting me so hard here. I guess the last thing I need to know is whether Anko accepts the martial arts Olympiad fight. The fight of the century.
Yeah.
Do it.
So I mean, she's going to accept, but like I'm writing a message that she's going to broadcast.
A lot of points in martial arts then, or melee combat.
Yeah. I mean, I will work on that.
That is like, how much XP did we get for this episode?
Yeah, exactly.
Since they're on my sheet, I have 0 points in melee combat.
I know. No, yeah, there's some things that and actually, funny enough, like just before this episode, I was like, oh crap, I didn't actually distribute my points, and so I quickly figured it out. But we'll figure that out either way. But I have who was it again that sent that message? What was the name?
Shinji Moritomo Lake.
Oh, of course. Shinji.
What do you mean? Of course it was. I mean, who else is gonna?
Who else would it be?
Yeah.
No, I know, but I mean, I was making sure that in my mind I remember because I'm terrible with remembering that stuff.
Doesn't like somebody in the Seppaku family just like only focus on like there's like got to be someone they can nominate as the champion. There aren't that
many Seppaku family members left.
That's a very valid point.
Yeah.
Hilariously, Tamari would be good for this if she wasn't stuck on New Avalon.
Wait,
sometimes
really?
It really do be like that.
Yeah. She trained she was a martial arts instructor with Kuro. Wasn't that part of her backstory?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. She literally told Jasper she trained in like family secret assassination arts.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of where Anko's still like, how do I approach this? I think ultimately she's going to send a message kind of as part of announcement of Kuro's death as well. And so it'll be a public broadcast.
Okay.
And the part that I don't know exactly how I'd want to phrase it is the response to Moritomo Lake. What I do know is how I'd want to start, and obviously
we'll maybe save that for the beginning of next episode.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
I'll write something up.
All of you receive a communication. Well, basically, when you're watching the news, you learn that Sebastian Bassett went off planet a couple of weeks ago without telling anybody. His absence has only just been noticed, and like everybody's like, "Where is he? And what's he doing?" However, art renovations and historical statues continue to be done all over the planet at like an increased pace, and like members of his night team who again are all like up jump gangsters, have been being seen in public at a much higher rate, and they're like, look at these orphan kids that we've adopted, and like look at these firehouses that we've built for firefighters. Bassett is putting on an incredible public relations campaign, even though he's not even present.
He's hiding something.
Any final thoughts before we end this part? Next episode we'll begin with the wedding of Hans and Melissa Steiner-Davian in August. So it'll be another little time skip there.
In that case, if the time skip's gonna happen and we can take care of any rules or whatever after, I think as long as everybody was on board, after hearing the news, Lachlan would try to frame this like giving of this Lost Tech data dump as a wedding gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
It will be accepted by like some sort of seneschal on behalf. It'll have to be hand delivered though, because it's too much data to be transmitted through comms.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take the hard drives, put them on an aircraft, fly them to Nevada, and then hand upload each file, and it'll still be faster than sending it over the internet.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Never underestimate the ability of tapes and a car traveling across the country.
It's true. I mean, it's still done today, honestly.
It's always throughput versus bandwidth, buddies.
Yeah.
Honestly, this might be enough data that they wouldn't want to transmit it over the internet now.
For sure. I mean, I think like also just as a gift, it makes the most sense to get it to the people that can distribute it well versus like people sniffing it out somehow with the data transfer.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I think Anko would be on board with that, and I mean, Anko would obviously be accepting the challenge. And we'll figure out, I guess, the circumstances and logistics of that when it comes.
Okay. Everybody gets 3 experience points.
Nice.
Only 3?
Wow.
Sorry,
I need to figure out what to do with experience points, because if we're gonna, I know we've like vaguely talked about it at some point in the future.
House assets, buy things, machines of war.
Can I do that now? But I have to wait till the end of the year, right?
No,
Well,
you can buy now with XP. You can buy at any time with XP. You can only buy with assets at the end of the year.
And assets is what we have to use to get the mech bay, right?
Oh, and then it's priced differently if you're salvaging versus if you're just buying it outright. Okay.
Yep. I mean, to salvage something, you have to kill it on the battlefield. So
I want to get some
for the
some tanks, probably. Or I could just pick up another SPA.
The nice thing about SPAs is when you take a pilot hit, you have to lose an SPA temporarily. So if you bolster it with a couple shitty SPAs, you can keep the good ones that you like on the battlefield for longer. Grimdark James has been abusing the SPA system. There's like one SPA that allows you to act before everybody else, and your actions take effect immediately. So like if you shoot somebody and you blow their arm off, their arm won't be available in that same shooting phase.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pick that one up to match with sharpshooter, and then I can also pick up sniper.
Sniper's good. Rangemaster is also pretty good. Jumping Jack is a cast favorite on A Time of Total War.
Yeah. Actually, good question. That's one thing I didn't figure out yet was SPAs and CP and stuff for Anko. So I think, is it 2 CP that I start with or no? Just to clarify, I'm going to ask you.
I believe you start with. You either start with 1 or 2.
Because I know we were able to
it's
buy.
On page 175.
Okay, I'll look it up.
And
cool.
you are a regular pilot, so you have 2 CP and you can start with 1 SPA.
Okay.
The dream.
I think I'm just going to go straight for Jumping Jack.
Yeah, you can buy
the
Jumping Jack
grasshopper. It's
immediately.
a great idea, buddy.
And that costs the 2 CPA, is that right?
Yep, it's everything.
Okay, cool.
It was tough writing a shitty commercial.
I know you're so good at writing quality that it's hard to like.
I literally was reading a trashy manga last night, and I was like, "This is it. I'm gonna turn this fucking plot line into a shitty commercial."
Yeah, you
Awesome.
should. Yes, 100%.
I was like, "This is terrible. The first chapter of this is so bad."
I know, that's what makes it so good, is that like I could tell that you were drawing inspiration from something, because this is so terrible that this has to be true. You know what I mean? It's like there's that one Jackbox game about like lying, right? You have to tell the stories or whatever, and you're lying, and it's like I could immediately tell that was this true story.
Well, listen,
because it's so terrible.
You and I, we're playing Among Us in 3 hours. So
yeah. So.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So you gotta get used to listening to me lie, because I'm gonna be like, I swear, guys, I didn't kill Eric first. It was somebody else.
Also, I want to first apologize today that I don't know. I try to do sleep aid or whatever to like go to sleep today, and I'm just woke up kind of like not. I don't think I've even woken up. Yeah. So.
I mean, dude, that's why
it's fine. Our last episode was 110%. So
yeah, I do want to just throw out there. I know that I'm sure it's probably fine, but I know that I threw out a lot of hate at Jasper today, Eric. So I appreciate you playing along and being good with
of course, man. I love you, dude. Sam and so for those who don't know in the audience, Sam and I have a rich and storied past of playing plenty of games together, and that honestly, Sam is an absolute treat to play with, and there's no one I would rather like have this ride or die kind of antagonistic relationship with, because Sam and I we can rock each other
right
very
back
well,
at
and we know it's entirely just like us.
And
I'm so thrilled to be the instigator of such rivalry.
Eddie's a newcomer as well, as far as like me playing games with, but he has the similar trajectory with us, which is why I was like, yeah, absolutely. And of course, APU and me, like APU and I, we've been playing games since like 2014 or something.
It's crazy,
fucking ridiculous, man.
I think it's been a real long time. Until touchdown brings me around
again.
Yep. I can't stop thinking about the shakuhachi version of that song. It's so good.
I've been playing it over and over throughout this episode.
Yeah. And I have a scene for you and me at some point that we're gonna do.
He's like got some movement while he's doing it. Okay, so look,
just wasn't the right scene today, but I have something holstered.
Awesome.
I think that next episode, somewhere either near the middle or the second half is gonna be the Kerensky ball.
Okay, good. Sick. We haven't decided who does it.
We did. It's Angelique Latour is holding it this year.
Oh, right. Good.
And she's intimated that she has a big announcement to make at the ball.
Interesting. I wonder if there's other announcements to be made.
Yeah, we need to
during the Kerensky ball, AB. If other things are happening.
Listen,
oh my God.
Stop.
We need to
Some
start
people don't know.
Dude,
I don't let it affect me. I just like to, as an audience member here, I just like to eat popcorn and shitpost with us all. But
yes,
I'm playing the game.
You do need to start thinking about legislation to put forward this year, because everything. Never mind. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot going on.
Is this the year that like? Is this like clan invasion year or something?
No, this is not. No. We're like 20 years out from clans.
The clan invasion is in 3048 is when it kind of starts. It doesn't really get kicked off until 3050.
3050. Yeah, I mean,
listen, people were saying when Jasper was like, everything is about honor and Kerensky, they were like, wow, Jasper, if he survives, is going to turn into a clan fanboy. He's going to pledge his service to the clans.
Yeah, I mean, if that was true, it's very possible.
Grandpa Jasper ships out there into the front lines.
No, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't even be that old.
No, he wouldn't. The thing is, though, like while he respects Kerensky, okay, so here's something that happened. This is actually a really, really interesting moment for Jasper, that if you ever did that, because he would have to choose between following his personal beliefs or following his liege.
Yeah, perfect. We'll see if he's still alive to have that conundrum in the future.
Probably he would only be 40 years old, so unless he dies in battle.
Which,
yeah, I mean, fair.
In case you forgot, I literally am in the biggest
between now and then.
I want you to remember that in that practice engagement a couple of sessions ago, I'm in literally the biggest, baddest mech that you can buy, like has been made, and I technically died with 3 missiles.
You're talking to this guy about technically died. I mean, come on.
Like, yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, the irony is that you both were on like the last legs in that battle, and then Kuro was one that.
So the other thing we need by the next episode is Anko's call sign.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
That's it. That's all I have. Any final thoughts?
I got to run pretty quick, so I'm out.
No,
right.
I love it. I love y'all.
Thanks for joining me, Cass, and thanks for joining this audience. Have a good afternoon.
Take care, everybody.